The big news that came out of that keynote speech was really AI mode. It's what everyone was really hoping to get, an insight into what's next for search. And you called it the most powerful search engine yet. Describe to us why this is a total reimagining of the search experience.
Yeah, I think we've seen with AI overviews that it's been really great for people, enabling them to ask new types of questions. But we also saw that people really wanted to say, sometimes they have those hard questions, they want to go directly to an AI-powered response. They wanted to ask follow-up questions because they're trying to do something in more depth in research. And so we really thought about what does that experience look like for people, and how do we bring it in so that they can ask truly their hardest questions, and then continue to explore and take action throughout the web.
So is this the end of the blue links?
No, absolutely not. I think both within AI overviews and within AI mode, AI is actually allowing us to go deeper into search. It's allowing people to find that hyper-relevant, incredibly fresh content that really matches your need. If you think about it, if you were doing more of sort of a keyword-y style, you only gave a few words. You didn't really describe what the particular type of shoes you want are. And you saw with the shopping example today, okay, if you're really describing this is the type of rug I want to buy, can you find that great small merchant that sells the perfect rug for you? And so I think that will continue to thrive going forward.
One of the biggest questions is really around search has really come up around, do I use one of these other chatbots, OpenAI, for example, or Meta, whatever's out there these days, to kind of ask it these questions in the same way that I used to use Google search for. When it comes to Google's products, why do you want users, do you prefer to have users go through the Gemini app or to search? Kind of what's the unique benefit of going to search in the case for, more specific and more complex questions?
I think search is really designed around helping you with your information needs. It's tuned to really think about things like accuracy and factuality. Oftentimes when you have these information needs, you want to get started, but then you want to go deeper and research more. Let's say you're looking for camps. You want some good idea for camps, but then you actually want to check out the campsites, right? And so search is really designed to make those questions possible, and really focused on doing the best job possible when you have questions with really an information focus.
You mentioned accuracy, and Google had some issues with accuracy kind of in the more early days of this technology. How did you know that AI mode was ready for prime time?
So we have quite thorough testing that we do constantly. We have the feedback from the users in the labs product, but also put it through extensive testing around the factuality, around the helpfulness of the product, and really seeing that both from our benchmarks as well as from the user feedback, we believe it is ready.
The agent kind of aspect to artificial intelligence is something that everyone is really curious about. When it comes to search, what do agents mean in that context? Is it going to be kind of us feeding information into search, or kind of it doing it for us in the long run?
I think maybe a couple of things to highlight. We talked about how we're bringing Project Mariner in today to search. On those cases, for instance, you're trying to buy baseball tickets, you would have to go to hundreds of different sites, enter in the same day, the same number of tickets, and go look at them. And we can go off and help pull that information together and then allow you to take action. But I think this is an important part of agents, is agents should be taking the drudgery out of the work for you. That's how we think about it in search, but still keeping you in control, right? So what's the part of the task you don't want to do, but then coming back and saying, well, which of these do you want, right? I think if you're trying to pick tickets or you're trying to buy a great purse, both of those, at the end of the day, you probably still want to sign off on that final choice. And so we're really thinking about the role of both reducing the effort, but enabling you, the agency, to participate.
I'm hearing a lot about engagement. So users are going to be using this in a different way and possibly for longer and more efficiently. Earlier this year, an Apple executive said that the number of Google searches in the Safari browser was starting to tick down. Do you expect that AI mode could actually reverse that trend?
So as we stated, overall search queries are up, including on the Apple platforms. But I think you also heard from Sundar today, AI overviews has driven an increase in queries already today. I think we expect with AI mode that will happen as well. It's really an expansionary moment. There's a lot of questions that you might think about in your head, but you didn't historically think it was worth the time or effort to go ask them. And as technology unlocks this, we saw this with AI overviews, people just come and they ask that question that used to pop in their head and they would let go and do that. And so we really expect the space to grow over time.
One of the areas that I know publishers and content creators are really curious about is kind of what the longer term impact of AI overviews is on them. Can you kind of break down how you expect AI mode, kind of largely available, to affect that cohort?
So I would say two things. We saw with AI overviews that pages with AI overviews drive higher quality clicks to websites, which means people spend more time on them. They're really engaged on them.
So it's a good thing for publishers.
So I think that's a great thing of getting really high quality content, and we are looking forward to doing the same thing with AI mode as well. I think we're going to continue to find deeper parts of the web, that really incredible hyper relevant content. But I would also say I still expect the vast majority of people to interact primarily on the main search experience with AI overviews. AI mode is really for those harder tasks. It's for the subset of people that really want to be on that sort of cutting edge frontier of models. But AI overviews and the main search page continues to be a great place for a lot of your questions.
When it comes to antitrust, it's on our viewers' minds. We're Bloomberg, and we're really focused on what those implications could be on the broader business model. A federal judge last year ruled that Google's dominance in search was an illegal monopoly, and of course, the outcome of that is still really yet to be seen. But for you, in your shoes as head of search, how are you thinking about the effect that could have on your roadmap?
So in general, we stay just focused on building the best thing for our users. People continue to choose Google because they find it helpful, not because they have to. And that is really our North Star and has been for years. You go back to that mission of organizing all the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. We're a long ways away from the end of that, right? Yes, we've come a long way in the last 25 years, but there's still so many opportunities to make information more useful. We talked today about how we think the future of search is going beyond information to intelligence, really helping you in a deep way with your needs. And that's what gets us motivated every day.
So you don't see the outcome of that antitrust trial kind of affecting your strategy in search going forward or slowing it down in any way?
So we don't generally comment on pending legislation, but I think in general we'll continue to try and build amazing products for users that people love, just as we have over the last 25 years.